Daniela Gonzalez Zegarra, and today I want to talk about two federal systems. The first one that governs my country, and the other one that I have the opportunity to observe closely here in Texas. Both countries define themselves as federal republics, but one lives its federalism, and the other still struggles to activate it. And that difference really matters, not only in the theory, but in how a nation grows, adapts, and responds to its people. Why compare federalism? Because federalism is not just a way of distributing responsibilities. It is a decision about who truly holds the power to shape a country's future. Only the central government, or also state and local governments. Comparing the US and Mexico shows us how two legislations with similar language can lead to very different outcomes. In both cases, the law reserves certain powers for the states, but only one of them does the principle truly become political culture. In the case of the US, I can say that it's a federalism that really works. In the US, they have the 10th Amendment, and it established that powers that are not delegated to the federal government are reserved to the states or to the people. And that principle is truly practiced. Here in Texas, I've seen how states can make its own laws, run its own courts, and even openly challenge the federal government. Texas has two Supreme Courts, its sound tax system, distinct educational models, and strong legal autonomy. And this is not just a design. It's a living federalism that allows states to live, to disagree, and to innovate. Now, in the case of Mexico, we have a federalism that is just on the paper. Mexico is also defined itself as a federal republic. We have an Article 40 in the Constitution that says so, that we are a republic. Then we have an Article 150 that it states the autonomy to municipalities. Also, we have an Article 160 that establishes separate powers at the state level. And then we have an Article 129 that is allied to the 10th Amendment. It's similar because it states that powers not granted to the federal government remain with the states. But in practice, things look really different. The federal government concentrates most of the national budget, makes most of the decisions, and treats local governments more as branches of the center than as autonomous authorities. So what makes them different? The difference isn't in the text, because like you see, we have like the same power thing about the 10th Amendment and the Article 129. So the difference, I can say, that is in the willingness to share the power. In the US, state power is respected, even when it causes tension. And in Mexico, there is still the rooted fear that too much autonomy given to the states, it's a weakened national unity. And so we ended up with a system that promises decentralization, but functions through centralism. That's what we live in day. And why does it matter? Because a country as diverse as Mexico cannot be governed from the center alone. Federalism allows states to respond to their own social, economic, and cultural realities. And in the US, states like Texas and California follow completely different models. Yet, both are legitimate and contribute to the same nation. And that diversity doesn't weaken the system. It makes it stronger. In Mexico, on the other side, the absence of real federalism has created a lot of dependency, uniformity, and frustration for all the people that lives in it. And what can Mexico can learn from your system, from the US model? Well, this is not just about copying the US Constitution or the US model, but it is about drawing inspiration from one essential value: trusting local governments. Like, give them more freedom to act and to really, like, just act, even when they are not aligned with the center. And that trust allows for growing. Mexico has already the constitutional tools. Like I said, the Article 129 that establishes. We don't need a new constitution. We need to just apply the articles that we have, the 150, the 116, and the 129 in real terms. And I think that really takes political courage, and we have a lot in the way. So my final reflection is, first of all, this program taught me, along many other things, the difference between written federalism and lived federalism. In Texas, I saw what it means for a state to live with real autonomy, and in Mexico, with written the right words, what we haven't let them breathe. So I think, in my own opinion, it's time to stop fearing autonomy and start building the real trust. Because when we empower states and regions, we don't break the nation, we help it grow.